Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you here today to this Facebook live stream. My name is Mike McDonald, and I'm the president of Kidventure Camps, and I'm more than excited today to talk specifically about Overnight Camp 2022. This will be our 28th year, can you believe it, of Overnight Camp, and we're probably more excited about this coming summer than probably ever before, and I think for obvious reasons, right? Because the pandemic has really altered the way we ran summer camp. Less in 2021 than 2020, but we are really excited about some normalcy, if you will, and getting back to overnight camp as we did prior to the pandemic. So today I'm going to talk all about what 2022 overnight camp looks like. And I know we have a lot of people who've registered already. Some of you might be new to Kidventure, so some of this is going to be brand new to you. Some of you have been with Kidventure for many years, but I'm still going to share some new information, some exciting information about the coming season. So I think it's going to benefit everybody today. We'll probably take about 45 minutes to do this presentation. In the comments section, feel free to put questions in there, because part of what I'm doing this for and what we do these streams is to answer your questions, because we might not cover everything in these presentations, but we want to be able to try to answer all those questions that you have. So feel free to put those in the comments section. Towards the end of my presentation, I'll refer back to those questions and answer any questions that you guys might have. Okay, so like I mentioned before, this will be our 28th year of camp, of overnight camp. We started back in 1994, with a simple goal, really, if you will, and that was to bring kids to the outdoors, to give them the opportunity to be kids in an environment that was safe, that was positive, and give them the chance to do amazing things that they probably never done before, and go home with a greater sense of self-esteem, a greater sense of self-worth, a greater sense of independence and responsibility. At the end of the day, that's really the power of overnight camp. It teaches those things, it instills those things. These kids realize that I did all these amazing things, and guess what? My mom, my dad, my parents weren't even there, and I did that on my own. The other piece to that is the friendship piece. Look, we have kids who've been coming to overnight camp for years. They don't see their friends other than when they come to overnight camp. And you would think that they've been with each other all year long when they get back together and then they get reunited. Overnight camp has this amazing ability to foster these really meaningful and long-lasting relationships. And I think that's the other thing about overnight camp that you need to realize. Okay, so there's that. Let's talk about what I'm going to talk about. Specifically, I'm going to talk about all three camp programs today. And the first is going to be Safari. That's for our program 8 through 12-year-olds. Quest, which is also 8 through 12-year-olds. And then I'll finally end up with Echo, which is our teen program, 13 through 16 years of age. So I'm going to go through each one of those individually. We'll talk about anything that's new about that program. Then I'm going to go into sort of how to get registered, if you've already registered, what that's going to look like in 2022. Anything new for the new season that's coming up, I'll touch on that as well. And then we'll wrap it up with the questions. All right. So Safari is our original overnight camp program. I mean, it began in 1994 with one van of 15 kids, and it was amazing. And ever since then, it's grown. Safari takes place at Mo Ranch near Hunt, Texas. Okay, and the session for this year is July the 11th through the 16th. So that's a 6-day session. We only take 25 girls and 25 boys. Now, we keep our numbers small. We have ever since the very beginning. And the reason there is I want that experience for those 50 kids or those 40 kids as it is for Echo to be very family-like, right? I want them to go home with 49 new friends as opposed to being one of a lot of kids at camp. I think that's important for their impact, for the value for camp, and for the reward that they sort of receive from camp, having smaller numbers. It also affords us the ability to get to know the kids a lot more and for them to get to know each other. Our kids at Safari will stay in dorms. So we have boys' dorms and girls' dorms. They are air conditioned, and there is nothing like being out in 100+ weather all day long at overnight camp and coming back to a cold air conditioned dorm. It's truly amazing. It's a great benefit because a lot of campuses in Texas don't have that. All of our meals are at King Dining Hall this year. We have a wide variety of foods for the kids to choose. So even our pickiest eaters are still going to find a lot of choices, salad bar, sandwich bar, in addition to sort of the cafeteria style food that we serve those kids there. let's go on to activities. So at Safari, we're going to do a wide variety of activities, all right? When we get up to camp on day one, we are dividing our kids up into what we call 4 tribes. And there's your sort of age groups, if you will. The turtle, the eagle, the bear, and the buffalo. Those 4 tribes are real important because there's a lot of pride in their tribe. If you're a turtle, that's a big deal. If you're a buffalo, that's a big deal. They will do a lot of things in those tribes, right? But they're going to be age appropriate. So there's boys and girls in each tribe, but they're age appropriate. They get divided in those tribes on Monday when we get up there. And so a lot of things they'll do, ropes course, they might go down to the river, they might do field sports in their tribes, but they're also going to combine with other tribes where appropriate. So all tribes get together, for example, in the evening when we do large-scale events. All tribes get together when we go to lunch. But the turtles and the buffaloes might get together. The eagles and the bears might get together for something. And I think that's important too because we're multi-aging. We're combining groups where appropriate. We're giving them the chance to meet new friends, to model from other kids. And it's great. It's wonderful. Every evening we debrief sort of the day by tribes. We talk about what we did, what were our experiences like, what did we learn, what kind of feedback did our kids give us. It allows us to do it in a smaller group, okay? And those are your tribes. Now, what all are we doing at camp? We are packed full of activities. So riverfront is probably one of the most amazing things. So we are on the North Fork of the Guadalupe River, crystal clear, beautiful water. That waterfront includes what the kids like to call as the rapids, which is like fast-moving water through these chutes that the kids love to go down and swim back up and go back down again. We have rope swing, and of course the mow slide, which, if you can imagine, is sort of like, I don't know, for better lack of a description, a roller coaster track that it's about 40 feet up in the air, goes down and into the water, and you're sitting on a board, and that board goes down the track and sort of skips across the top of the water like if you're skipping a rock across the top of the water. It's absolutely amazing. The kids love it. It's sort of a rite of passage at camp, and that's also down at the riverfront. The kids are going to be doing ropes course. This is ropes challenge course. These are high elements, things like rock climbing, zip line. And we do those not just because they're fun and they're exciting, but we do those because we want to challenge our kids. We want to give our kids the opportunity to step outside of themselves, to do something maybe they were a little fearful for or of. And the outset of that is, I feel great about myself. I just did this amazing thing. I have a greater sense of confidence. And a lot of camp is about that, right? It's stepping outside of ourselves. We'll be doing field sports throughout the week. That could be sand volleyball. That could be kickball. It could be Newcomb. It could be Calvin ball. We have a wide variety of overnight camp games that we do on the field. Kayaking and stand-up paddling is a big part of what we do. Kids love to go kayaking. They love to go stand-up paddling. They'll be instructed in both of those, and they'll have an opportunity to do that. Archery is another thing we do. Kids will have a chance to work with bows and arrows, targets, environmental education. So once or twice during the week, we have an environmental class. One of those is a critter class. So we'll have an instructor who will have a variety of different animals. It could be armadillos or raccoons or snakes or whatever it might be. They'll learn about those. These are native to the hill country. And it's a great opportunity for them to be educated, learn about the animals and the environment around them. The evening parties and events. So one of the kids' favorite things is every evening we have a large event. All the tribes come together. That could be glow-in-the-dark capture flag. For sure, the dance party on Friday night, which is a huge hit, probably the most popular event I think the kids have. That's also a costume party where the kids dress up. We certainly wouldn't have camp without campfire and s'mores. So under the stars, we have a big campfire one night. We're roasting s'mores and making s'mores. It's an amazing time. And then lastly, character building. Everything that we do at camp is designed to build your child, right? Is to give them a greater sense of self-esteem, a greater sense of self-worth. And so we craft everything that we're doing at camp to sort of provide that opportunity for that growth and that learning. And I think that's real important no matter what program that we're doing. That's kind of what Kidventure is all about, is character building. All right, so that gives you an idea of Safari. I'm going to move on to Quest. Now, Quest is the same age group, but it's a little bit different. So, and the main thing that's different, I think, is the duration of camp. So camp is going to be August 1st through the 9th. It also takes place in Rock Springs at our camp at Camp Eagle, which is about another 45 minutes an hour past Mo Ranch in the Hill Country. So it is a 9-day program as opposed to a 6-day program. And I would say that the adventures at Quest are a little bit more high adventure, right? The zip line, for example, is like a half a mile long zip line as opposed to 400-yard zip line. We do a little bit more hiking at Quest. And I get a lot of questions about that this time of year, is what is the difference between Quest and what is the difference between Quest and Safari? And I'd really have to say, one, it's the duration of camp, a 6-day as opposed to a 9-day program. And then two, the activities are a little bit more high adventure, if you will. We go caving. We do some things that we don't do at Safari. But your child can come to either camp, right? I mean, they can come to Quest if they want to go to a longer program. They can come to Safari if it's maybe their first camp. I will tell you that both accommodations are going to have air conditioning, so that's kind of the same. This year, we are providing more variety of foods for Quest, so I think that's going to be one of the things that's a little bit different this year. Still, we're taking 25 boys and 25 girls to Quest. That doesn't change. Our goal for Quest, I think, is really the same as Safari, and that's really for your kid to come home at the end of that experience feeling rewarded and feeling great and feeling like they can take on the world and do anything, because that's what camp's really all about. So that's Quest. Let's talk specifically more about those activities and what the kids are going to be doing. We have a riverfront, an amazing riverfront at Quest. We're on the Nueces River as opposed to the Guadalupe River, so different river altogether, but still very much a hill country river, limestone bottom, crystal clear water. We have a variety of activities on our riverfront for the kids to do. There's slides there, there's the blob, there's a gladiator course over the water. It's pretty amazing. Ropes course, the kids will be taking part in ropes course. They will be rock climbing on natural rock. We have cliffs there that are about 100 foot tall. The kids will get to go rock climb and experience that. Hiking, we do a little bit more hiking at Quest, like I mentioned earlier. They will also kayak and they will stand up paddleboard at Quest. We have a cool thing called a pump track. So it's a dirt track that starts up on the hill and has a bunch of bumps and hills along the way, all the way down, where they get to ride dirt bikes, which was really fun. We sort of did that for the first time this year, and it was a hugely popular activity for our kids. That's called the pump track. We have an amazing cave on the property, so kids actually get to go caving, get down in the cave, we turn off the headlamps, and it's never been as dark as you've ever been when you're in the cave. A neat program, and something the kids really love to do. We do archery tag there. We do zip line, and the zip line is the longest zip line in the Southwest. It's absolutely breathtaking, to be honest with you. Of course, we'll have evening parties and events every night, just like Safari, the same ones, in fact. We also do campfire and s'mores, and of course, character building. That's the big thrust of everything that we do at camp. So that's Quest. And hopefully you can see there's a little bit of difference between Safari and Quest there. All right, let's move on. Our last program is for our teens. So this is 13. So if your child is turning 13 for the summer of 2022 through the age of 16, then this is the camp for them. Echo is probably one of my favorite programs, just because I think that age group, that 13, 14, 15, 16 age group, needs camp probably more than anybody else. I think teens at that age are at a crossroads. They're trying to figure things out, and I think camp affords them the opportunity to point themselves in the right direction, to challenge themselves socially, physically, mentally. I think they come back with a greater sense of self-esteem. And as any parent, and I'm a parent that has a teen, knows how important self-confidence is, especially in that age bracket. And so I love Echo. Echo's very different than Quest and Safari. It's very leadership driven. So we're trying to instill in our kids the opportunity to be leaders, to try new things, to put themselves out there, to challenge themselves, to be better, and to make those around them better. And so we designed the camp program around that premise, right? We only take 20 boys and 20 girls to Echo, which is a little bit different. I like that smaller number, even smaller than Quest and Echo, so only 40 kids total. attend Echo. Gives us a chance to really drill down with the kids and get to know them a little bit more and provide them with the opportunity to learn and grow. Still very adventure-based, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. They stay in their own cabins. We have this neat complex where we have all the boys and the girls' cabins. They're sort of semicircular around what we call Mikasa. And Mikasa is kind of our home base. It is where we eat. It's where we come to in the evenings. We have a couple parties in there. The kids love to hang out on the porch and the chairs and talk. It's a really great facility for just sort of developing and fostering community, if you will. And all these things I'm talking about, I have pictures of these online, so you can go back to the website and look for those and refer to those, okay? New to Echo this year is air conditioning. So they put in air conditioning in the cabins. In the past, we did not have air conditioning for Echo, which was really not a big deal, but I'm not going to turn down air conditioning if we're going to put air conditioning in there. So we will have air conditioning for 2022, which I'm super excited about, and I know the kids are probably even more excited than I am. So there we go. All right, let's talk about activities. Of course, we do the riverfront, and there's a picture of the riverfront there, if you will. One of the neat things about Echo that's very different from Quest and Safari is that we go on a backpacking trip. So 2 days out of our 9-day program, the kids will suit up in backpacks that we provide, and sleeping pads and tents, and we're going to head out into the wilds on an overnight backpacking trip. I would say it's probably their favorite event that we do during the week, if not one of the favorite events, and I think the reason is because it's like unlike anything they typically will do. We have this amazing camping spot high up on a hill at the highest point on the 1,500 acres that we're on. The kids are responsible for setting up camp, for helping cook their food, for helping put the fire together, all of the things. And it's just a great experience. We're sleeping out under the stars or in our tent, and we're telling stories at night around the campfire, sharing things that maybe kids don't feel comfortable sharing, and getting to know each other a lot more. And I think it's a wonderful experience and something we've done from the very beginning. That's the backpacking trip. They will kayak, they will stand up paddle like the other groups. We do gladiator course with our kids too. It's, if you can imagine American gladiators, if you will, at camp, it's kind of like that. And we have an underground maze where they have to work in teams to find themselves through the maze and out in the dark, which is another great experience for team building. Zip line, they get to do the zip line. We do have all the evening parties, the campfire, s'mores, leadership development. And so I mentioned earlier that that's a big part of what we do. So during the week, we also do a community service project. And we've done a variety of these projects over the years. And it's a chance for our kids to give back, because I think personally one of the greatest ways to instill leadership qualities in somebody is having an opportunity to serve others, right? Is to give back, right? And over the years we've done, like I said, a wide variety of activities. Trail maintenance, we've helped paint the house of somebody who lived nearby. We worked with the city of Rock Springs to do some city improvement there. So that community service project will take place once during the week for Echo, and it's a big part of what we do in our quest to try to instill those leadership skills in our kids at Echo. Okay, so that pretty much covers the activities. Let me move on. For me, I think the most important part of our camp experience for our kids really isn't the activities. It isn't the zip line and the service projects and the backpacking trip. All those are really fun and exciting and amazing. But what brings those to life and how we facilitate those is completely dependent on the quality of our team, as our staff. And I feel very proud to say that Kidventure's overnight camp program really puts the best, the most eager, the most spirited, the most dedicated team together for your kids. I mean, they love what they do. This is what they live for. And they can't wait for the summer to come because they want to go to camp just as much as your kids want to go to camp. They want to be there, and they want to be there for the fun and the excitement, but most importantly, they want to be there because they want to make a difference in the lives of these kids, right? They want to get to know them. They want to share their story with them. They want to help them. They want to see them grow and learn and develop into be a young adult, right? And that's what our staff really loves about camp. Everybody is first aid CPR certified. Everybody has typically worked for us for a long time, whether it's in day camp or in the overnight camp program at Kidventure. You'll have a chance to meet them in the spring. We'll do an online get together with each camp, Echo, Safari, and Quest. That'll come in the later part of the spring, early summer. And they're just a great group of people, and I'm super proud to work with all of them, and I'm looking forward to this team this year and all the opportunities that we have with your kids. So there's our team. Let's move on a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about what's new for camp this year. First of all, transportation. That's not new, but what is new is we've expanded transportation to the Dallas area. So since '94, we've provided transportation from Houston and Austin to camp and back. Parents don't drive their kids to our camp and pick up their kids at camp. I mean, it's a convenience thing, obviously, on the front end of that, right? I mean, not to be able to have to take your kids there. For us, it's more important. We like to get the kids all together in the bus. We do name games. We get to know each other. That way, when we get to camp, we sort of hit the ground running. And I think that's important because it's really awkward to drop your kid off at camp. No one knows anybody. We've already sort of broken that ice, and when we get there, we're ready to go. But this year we have expanded transportation to Dallas, and I know that makes sort of our DFW families very happy because they've had to take that trek down 35 to get to Austin typically to drop off their kid to go to camp. And so we're happy to announce that we'll be providing that transportation from Dallas, still Houston and Austin as well. Those are all on luxury tour buses too as well. They're air conditioned, have TVs, the whole 9 yards. It's very comfortable. We will be doing a pre-camp party with our staff online. So after you're registered and further in the spring, you'll get an invitation as part of that welcome packet to attend that online party. We used to do those in person, and maybe COVID sort of forced us into doing that, but it's really been a good thing because not all of our kids can attend the in-person parties. Just because they don't live anywhere near here. I have kids coming from Mexico, I have kids coming from Europe and China. So it affords everybody the opportunity to get together, see everybody, talk, see the staff, ask questions, and it's a good thing for everyone. So that'll come later in the spring. Included in all of our camp programs and the price of tuition, of course, is that transportation, the pre-trip party, all the lodging, all the meals, all the activities. Everybody gets a unique shirt. Every year we design a brand new shirt for overnight camp. Your child will get that shirt too as well. All photos and videos taken from camp, we don't charge you for those. Those are yours for free, and they're yours to download. So we have an app that pretty much everybody downloaded and was a part of. And during camp, we take pictures all during the day and at night, and we upload those to the app, and you can view those pictures. And it's kind of a way for you to kind of be a part of what's going on at camp, right, and to see what's happening. We don't always have internet connection, obviously, and Wi-Fi. So sometimes you'll have to wait until the evening. We also send an email every night to notify you and let you know of the day, sort of wrap things up and talk to you that way. That's kind of how we communicate because kids don't call home unless there was an emergency or something like that. So we do our very best to sort of keep you plugged into camp, share our adventures with you through pictures and video, and tie the end of the day up through that email, that nightly email that you get. And before camp even starts, we're really working with you, getting you ready to go. And the main way we do that is through what we call our welcome packet. So in May, everyone will be sent the welcome packet. That will include a variety of things. One of those will be a packing list. We're real specific about what we want your child to bring by their program. And a lot of parents just will work off that list, pack their stuff, and they're good to go. If you follow that list that we put together for you guys, you'll be set to go for camp. Also in that is the invitation to the pre-camp party. There's a couple waivers in there and some other information on, for example, address and phone numbers and emergency contact information, all those kind of things like that. We are bringing back care packages for this year. We stopped doing that, but I'm bringing it back, and the main reason I'm doing that is because the mail has been horrible out there. Parents sending packages, they don't always get there when you think they're going to get there, and so we're going to be offering that. We can always take up mail for you and distribute that per your wishes too as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so that's a little bit about what's new for this year and what's included in camp. I think the last thing I'll finish with is registration. Let me move to the side a little bit. So if you have not already registered, I encourage you to do so soon. I will tell you that Safari is full for boys, and if it's not already full for girls, it's pretty close to filling for girls. I know that Quest is well on its way to filling as well. This is not something you probably want to do after the new year. If you are interested in coming to overnight camp, I would highly encourage you to do so soon. There is a non-refundable $100 deposit, which is due at the time of registration, plus a $35 registration fee, okay? The balance of that is not due until May 2nd of 2022, okay? So not until May of 2022. And then once again, the camp packet or the welcome packet will be sent that first week in June. Last week in May, first week in June, right in there is when we typically will send out the welcome packet. We don't start proper with our first session until July, so you'll have a month to sort of prepare and get ready and do any sort of last minute things and call us and everything like that. So anyway, so with that, that's sort of my portion of the presentation. I think what I'll try to do is look and see if I have any questions.